Hello there. This is me, not so much editing, coming in right, or dude coming in right now to let you. Sorry, I have a croissant that I'm about to eat. It's an almond croissant. It's delicious. Let's get on topic. Coming in to tell you that this video is going to be a little bit different from the others because if you remember from the last video that I just put out where I talked about my process of wanting to make sure that this whole thing is sustainable for me. So that includes on Mondays at 10 a.m. Today is also Monday. I'm shooting this after the fact. But earlier today at 10 a.m., I streamed live on Twitch at this lovely channel right here, twitch.tv/JazWoKit, where, yeah, I streamed for about an hour and a half doing the whole game dev thing. So I'm going to be uploading basically the entirety of the someone's walking around upstairs. Basically the entire thing onto YouTube, which is what you're seeing right now after this edit bit that I'm doing at the start. Anyway, so this one I'm counting as day 11.5 because we didn't end up getting a whole lot done, which I anticipated. The thing was mainly me getting back up to speed in a very rambly, weird way because I haven't touched this project since November of last year. And a lot of things have happened since, and a lot of time has passed, and I was literally just trying to remember what I was doing, and also troubleshooting live stream issues as they came up, because it's my very first time live streaming. So, you're going to be seeing the full, unedited the footage from the stream, except I have to put the music back in, because I forgot to have the music on my streaming setup. So I only added the music in. But other than that, it's not edited. Anyway, so that's what you're about to see here. Every Monday at 10 a.m. Central, if you're able to come by and watch the stream, I would love to have you around. Otherwise, it'll be uploaded here. And this is the first one of those. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this rambling mess. I will see y'all next week for officially like starting back up on day 12. In the meantime, enjoy. Have a good one. Is this working? Are we doing a thing? I should probably take the lens cap off of the camera and you can see, hello, we're here. And welcome to the very first live stream of this whole this game dev channel and everything, and probably other stuff in the future. But yes, welcome here. I have music playing on at the moment. Usually I'm doing this in silence, and I'm not used to all this. Okay, so full transparency. This being the very first stream for this channel and all that kind of stuff. For the game dev stuff, sorry, I'm trying to find the right pen to screw around with. This being the very first game dev stream and everything, and also my first time streaming in the first place, this is going to be a mess, and I can't cut around all my mistakes and silly stuff that I usually can. There's probably going to be some troubleshooting here and there, audio issues, such as I'm sure the music might be too loud at the moment. It seems fine in my headphones. So we're gonna roll with it and it's gonna be alright. Also, on that note, this game dev stuff, it's obviously been a while. I think the last time I touched any of it was in November, which I'm checking my things and or checking my videos here. Or the last time we worked on a designing a puzzle for our game. And got the puzzle mostly sorted out, things like that, and I think the next time we were coming back to it, the plan was, after that, to come back and actually get into the engine and start, like, putting together the map and all that kind of stuff. That was the plan, back in November, but we are not in November, we are now in late June, and it's been quite a while since I've looked at any of my materials, and I need to get caught up. with what's going on. Now, the smart thing would have been to actually do this before I started streaming and all this nonsense. Yeah, but we didn't do that. So take this as a nice early adopter thing. Take this as a, what day were we on? We were on day 11. We'll take this as a day 11 and a half. Basically getting caught up with the work we were doing and trying to, you know, basically get back into the swing of things. Because I think also a big part of this is going to be if I'm staying true to the whole, like, game dev kind of vibe and everything, and we're starting out from scratch and not knowing anything, this is also, you know, like I said, having to quit and then having to come back to things. My music just stopped. Excellent. Having to stop on occasion and then come back to it is going to be part of the process, you know, especially if you're an amateur game dev or whatever and you're trying to learn this stuff. If you're trying to learn anything, things will happen in your life and you won't be able to come back to it and for an extended period of time, and then at some point you're going to have to come back to it. I said in an earlier video that I really wanted to work on making sure like every little aspect, partially for my own sanity. It helps now that I don't have the luxury of editing these anymore, now that I'm doing like a whole live stream setup. But I said in a previous video that I wanted to include every single aspect of everything that was going on, even you know, even if it's like me trying to figure out story sections, me trying to figure out like puzzle stuff, things that might seem boring but are still an important part of the process, or like writing music, for instance. I kept like kind of try to, especially the entire story for the game. I did that entire thing off of camera, and was working on that, and then kind of presented to the little mic. Presented it to everyone later on after I'd figured all that stuff out. So, this all being said, today's going to be a catch-up day. Like I said, a day 11.5. We're getting back into the swing of things. I have to go back over my materials and figure out what the hell I was doing. And thankfully, having brought it up, it seems like I organized things pretty decently. And I have my trusty little, what is going on? No, I'm hitting stuff. Don't do that. What did I just hit? I don't know. Anyway, nothing seems broken, so we should be fine. Yeah, so welcome to day 11.5. For anyone here in the live stream, which I'm not sure there is anyone in the live stream, and honestly, that's even better because this is terrifying and spooky, and I'm terrified of messing it up, but that'll be okay. Anyway, so last time we came over here, we had a, let me find a, I gotta rifle through my little setup here. My setup is optimized for recording the videos to edit afterwards, which is to say it's not optimized at all, because with the video recording and editing afterwards, I don't have to go through all the trouble of you know, making sure things are streamlined and easy to access when I can just kind of go for it. I'm gonna do a quick, real fast, just checking my stream is working. Excellent. I just listened to it. You might have been able to hear it. Yeah, like I said, very first stream. We're gonna count this as like a half day. It's gonna be really nice and simple. Ease us back into it because my mind is a mess and I don't want to deal with too much today. And that's the idea. Okay. So, speaking of getting back to, if I can find it, DSLR and screen. Yes? Yes, hold on. Let me hide some things. Okay, cool. If I can switch back over here, we'll do a lovely 300 millisecond fade. Get ready for this one. Hey, it's beautiful. We're doing fantastic. Hello, welcome to this. This was the, I believe y'all have seen this in a previous video. This is kind of my spooky cave game, my whole setup for literally the, the main place that I'm putting all the materials for the cave game. Had a long thing about trying to figure out the story ideas. This was the entire like spitballing page, which I think I showed quite a bit about. So, in keeping with today's theme, which is going to be very, like I said, very interesting and very fun, and just going through and updating myself on what the hell happened and where I was. But review, here we go. So, the game, if I go over to the gameplay overview kind of stuff, the kind of game I was wanting to make is very much like Riven, the 2024 remake made by Cyan Worlds. Fantastic studio. I've loved their work since the original, like Myst and Riven. That, I mean, granted, the original Myst and it came out before I was born, and then Riven came out the year I was born. So, you know, it's weird that I still feel like I have to act like I'm gonna edit this afterwards. We're figuring it out. So, yes, I wanted to make a kind of puzzle game similar to Riven. Actually, I hope I have like Riven installed over here somewhere. So maybe I can pop it up on screen real fast and show it to you. Because it is a fantastic game. Should we get this going? We have an hour and a half to cover. We'll get it going. And I think it'll help me kind of explain my thought process and all that kind of stuff if I have something to draw from. So this whole Riven experience was essentially the, like, yes, the Riven game was the experience that I wanted the player to have. I like the idea. What I really love about Riven is how all the puzzles are integrated within the within the environments, within the world itself. And to the people that live here in this place that the player has been dropped into, it's not a puzzle if you're from this place. But us being an outsider, to us, it is a puzzle, trying to figure out how their infrastructure works, how their how they're different machines, and like what are the functions of these different things that they put together, all that kind of stuff. And there's a larger game that I want to get to in the future, especially based around this principle, but we are first doing a much smaller, condensed version of what I want that game to eventually be, just to have basic idea, like a basic game going, so that we can like put on Steam and whatever, so we don't have to figure out all the publishing and all that kind of stuff with our first big game or something. And it also, I think it'd be nice to have like a little smaller project to get out of the way. This game is taking forever to load up, so we might not end up seeing it at all. Oh, wait. Hey, we're going. I believe we are going. I can game. If you're seeing a black screen right now, that is because that is all there is. At the moment, my camera is being a bit jittery because my computer is struggling. We good? The stream says it's still fine. I think it's literally just the capture software, because I am recording and trying to open up a game all at the same time. It's a lot. My computer is not super it was a really good computer for when I got it, like when I built it like a decade ago. Well, the sound seems like it's fine, even though the motion, everything is a little bit jittery. It's gonna be okay. So, while I wait for the game to load up, continuing on with what I was saying, yes, we're having a much smaller game, much smaller experience that you should be able to do within like 30 minutes, I think, is like kind of the goal. And I was writing things down. I have my little journal, like notebook kind of deal here. Whoop. Wait, hold on. Maybe I can make it so it's not so exposed. Oh, why is that locked? Whoop. Sorry, I'm messing with my camera here. There we go. Nope, that's not any better. There we go. Okay, yes, I was writing this whole entire document, everything, with kind of an idea of the like things that the first level needed to do, as well as a diagram of the first level. And so this is what we are going to be designing here in the near future. But I'm realizing I'm getting off topic, and I need to get back on track with whatever I was saying. Hold on, I think we may have... Riven might be working at some point. Like I said, this is the silly stream where it's a lot of troubleshooting and checking if anything's gonna work. With any luck, maybe I'm able to record this a different way, so I don't have to record this directly to my computer and save some resources. I don't know. Let me go back a little bit. Back to what I was saying with this smaller game. We're making it a little smaller. We're making a little smaller, story-driven kind of game. That is about a single guy who lives in, and there's gonna be like 3 levels to it. It's gonna there's a guy who lives in a cabin. You solve a little puzzle in the cabin. There's gonna be another area. Also, our game just booted up. But while that's going, I'm gonna... Cool. It just distracted me. Guy living in a cabin, right? And essentially there's like a very simple story of him finding a gift that some loved ones left behind on the outskirts of town, where he has to go there, solve another puzzle to get into this cave and retrieve a special item from the loved ones that he's lost, is the main thrust of, you know, the game. Yeah, and we're making this much smaller thing. I wanted to keep it small and condensed story-wise, with just like, we only have our one character. We have a couple other small characters because we want to make sure we're not introducing too much complexity, no grand conspiracies, nothing like that. Because I had this initial idea of like a story hook of the story hook. And this initial idea of like the story hook, where this main character in like this 1800s Western town suddenly gets a letter slipped under his door. And he looks at the letter to find it was written by his brother, telling him to meet him on the outskirts of town, but his brother's been dead for however long. Ooh. Story hook has changed a little bit since then. It is still a letter from one of his loved ones, and he's still dead. So on the surface, the story hook isn't that much different. But... hold on, I just got this game going, so if I do this little switcheroo, boom! Maybe I can look around June 24, March 29. Let me find a good, solid save game. It's in the Drug Lounge. Well, Boiler Island. Why not? 12 a.m. Damn. So that was an extremely messy, jumbled explanation of what I'm trying to do with this small little game, and I should be a good streamer and mute my phone so as to not be disturbed while I'm trying to stream right now. But we're going to be using Riven here. I'm going to be showing y'all around a little bit as an example of the kind of things that I think Riven does very well, and the kind of things that I wanted to also do with this game that that we're making. It's going to be loading for a long time because my computer is trying to do so many things at once. We'll figure out a solution for that later. Or never. I don't know. Anyway. Oh man, I just thought, like, what if... Because we're also going to be working in the engine, and if I'm trying to run the engine along with the streaming software, which I can tell is struggling a little bit when I wave my pen like this and it's lagging a lot. And we're dropping frames because we're trying to run an Unreal Engine game while Problems to be sorted out later. Like I said, this is the first stream. This is the intro stream to this concept of me doing this, you know, day by day or whatever. Or sorry, once a week. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can actually see me there. Cool. This thing's taking forever. How are y'all doing? Doing good? I'm not sure anyone's watching at the moment. Not live anyway, but for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, I hope you're doing well as well. Yeah. The goal is, I think, by the way, while we're waiting on the loading thing, as like a little update for the YouTube channel and stuff. I think the goal at some point is going to be having an editor to help trim the streams down. I think the streaming idea is a much better idea to get it, you know, I just kind of pick it up and go without having to think too much about it. At least when I get the, you know, streaming software and the whole thing sorted out. That's the idea. What was I saying? I'm going to be running into this, by the way, a lot because my mental illness is striking yet again with my working memory. Yes. Yeah. At some point, the goal is to get an editor, so I can stream the entire thing, I can record the entire stream, and then an editor can help break it down into a nice little watchable, like, bite-ish sized video later on for your viewing pleasure. So you won't have to deal with the ums and ahs, and I can get to the point a little better. Granted, the goal with the stream is also, if you couldn't tell already, I'm not very good. Jesus. Okay, I bumped the mic. I'm not very good at talking, especially for long periods of time. I struggle with it and organizing my thoughts, and hopefully with enough practice of streaming some more, I will be able to get to the point where I can just talk and not worry about it so much. And then an editor, whenever an editor is able to come onto the scene, wouldn't have so much of a struggle getting, you know, this cut down into something actually useful. I'm going to do another fade over here because the game is struggling to load. How's it going? We're checking the stream real fast. Okay, and we're still streaming. Okay, and we're still streaming. Excellent. Yeah, so I pulled up this game as an idea of just... Maybe the game will load in the near future. Maybe I should have just let the game do its thing and just started from wherever it was instead of going through this whole other loading screen to load up an entire location that we are not currently in. So that might have been a my bad, but we're in it now. And the second I decide to stop playing the game is the second that it's going to load, and I'm going to be like, I could have started explaining it here. I hope this is intriguing to you. I hope you're having a good time. You know, excellent. This is great. This is the quality content that everyone signed up for Twitch to see, or to Twitch to see. Anyhow. This game is taking forever. Good lord, it keeps loading. I'm just seeing Atris's hand, like, flip back and forth. He just keeps doing this. Great. Well, we're still waiting on this to load. So, in the meantime, while we're waiting on this to load, I guess I'll keep going on about the ideas I had for the game. And I can go ahead and bring up this whole deal to get... Wait. No. Bring up this whole deal to get back to where I was with like the kind of game that we're trying to make. We're getting up to speed. It's an updating myself on my own processes and everything kind of stream. Thankfully, it seems I kept things mostly organized. I'm going to get more into the mechanics ideas and all that kind of stuff when the game finally loads. Whenever that happens to be. But in the meantime, I will move on to other things. I had sorted out the entirety of the sections of the game. This is essentially like a story overview of each section that, so there's gonna be like 3 parts. The prologue, which takes place in the main character's home. Part 1, which is outside of this mining, or like this abandoned like kind of storage cave for a nearby like abandoned like mining facility. And then inside the cave in the finale, which will be part 2. This one I obviously have not written much into yet, but we'll get there later. Okay, going through the whole bunch of stuff with both the story and the mechanic kind of takeaways that I wanted each section to have. So the prologue, our main character's home. This is kind of the place where we're introducing. Obviously, we want to teach the player how to do certain things and what kind of controls are important, and we want to also get the basic idea of object interaction, get them looking around their environment in a more detailed way, which is also going to be a whole thing with making sure the environment is detailed, which is going to be a struggle in its own right, but we will figure it out. As these things go, how's the game doing? It's still running, or loading. Anyway, but also, story takeaways, since it's the prologue, there's a lot of things that we need to get out of the way very quickly, and hopefully we can do it in a way that does not seem too, I don't know, forced. I don't want to jam information down the player's throat, but I also... There's a lot of stuff that we need to get the player up to speed with in a very short amount of time when we're starting this tiny little game about like a single man's like kind of struggle with, I guess, moving on past his the death of his loved ones. And I'm going to get to how we're establishing some of this stuff, or like the ideas I had for it. Like I said, I'm also kind of reminding myself how this entire thing works. Still going? It's still going. So yeah, game setting. Taking place after the events of there was this event called the Ludlow Massacre in Colorado in 1914, and the town of Ludlow is a very interesting story and very fascinating. Long story short, there's a whole Wikipedia article about it. Long story short, essentially strikebreakers and backed with the U.S. Army and stuff. Oh yeah, here you go. Colorado National Guard hired strikebreakers. Colorado Fuel and Iron Company did this whole thing, and this town they were on strike, and there's a whole like organized movement here for better working conditions. And what essentially happened is the United States military and the company itself got on together and burned down and shot into this tent colony with a bunch of miners, but also all the miners' family. And most of the people that died, that were killed in this event, were the children and wives of wives of these mine workers. Very devastating story. It was a crazy time in history, and it's also a period of history that's very fascinating to me, and what our larger game is going to be about. But this game takes place kind of in the shadow of all that happening. And so that's what the game setting is. Oh yeah, I was going to get to how I'm going to explain all this, like what we're going to do with it. After I just get through the little story takeaways, but player character's relation to the events, wife and brother killed at Ludlow. He was not there to be able to help them. We're obviously fictionalizing this a little bit. We have a fictional main character placed into a historical situation. This one is who is messaging me? That is wonderful. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. I need to mute everything. Give me a second. Oh my god. This is why we're having the test stream, so I can figure this kind of stuff out. Let me go into the settings of my computer and let me... Notifications. Okay, off. Cool. They're off. How's the game going? Oh, thank God. Okay. We're taking a quick detour away from this to look at the game. Look at it. It's beautiful. We love it. Yes. Welcome to Riven, with a lot of the settings turned down, and you can see a lot of, like, jittering and glitchiness there. I promise it's not the game's fault, it's only because I'm trying to stream and record at the same time. So we can probably get my camera working in a better fashion, let me take you through what I was going to talk about, and I'll pick up, or talk about with this game and like kind of the style of interaction that I'm trying to do. And then we will get back to what I was just talking about with the whole story and everything. So, welcome to Riven. This is an island called, I believe it's called Boiler Island. Yeah, that's a big boiler right there. And we're actually gonna go down over there real quick. Ooh, don't mind that one bit. Like I said, it's not the game's fault. I am struggling. Or sorry, I'm not, well, I am struggling, but my computer is struggling, is what I mean to say. It is not built for this kind of action. Cool. So, if I come over here, because this whole machine, this apparatus here, this like with the brickwork and stuff, this is going to be an excellent example of the kind of things that I'm looking at. So let me go over here. This is a little vent that controls steam power, or there's, if you can kind of hear the rumbling. Yeah. There's like a lot of volcanic activity and stuff under. Huh. Do I have a zoom in this game? Oh, there is a zoom. Interesting. Anyway, so we're gonna come over here, look at this old machine. And it automatically opens the door. But we have this whole thing. We have a little window out there. Let me no, don't close the door yet. Jesus, I'm walking here or something. But you can see we have all these little components and parts of this machine. In the original game from 1997, like it was kind of like a still frame looking at it like this-ish. Obviously now it's a little bit different. And now we can control all like the little bits and bobs. Oh, there you go. And I really like playing this game and messing with the machines. There's nothing... Yes. There's nothing like describing exactly like what's going on and how this is working. I really enjoy in these games how Cyan Worlds just kind of... Is that my radiator? Why is it on right now? What? It's like 70 degrees outside. What's going on? If you hear clacking and shuddering, it's because my radiator is turned on for some god-awful reason on June 22nd. So, yeah. I don't know what's up with that, but anyway, we're going to continue on and pretend the clacking and clanging isn't happening. Anyway, so when you make it to this, this is a big boiler, and its actual purpose is for making paper. This is like their main paper making like kind of island and stuff in the story of this game. Granted, you get here and you don't exactly know that, but you do see this machine, and you see a ladder. There's nowhere else to go. And you see a ladder over there, but that hatch at the top is closed when you first get here. And essentially, you have to figure out how to get this machine into a state in which you can go through a duct at the bottom, and like, you know, go through the entire machine to get out the other side. That will help you unlock that over there. And to get to what I was saying, I love how the game like lets you just tinker and fool around with machines to try to understand how they work, what all these different mechanisms do. I really like how each like operation, like this lever, this wheel, this this switch, like all these things like look very distinguished and different from one another. And obviously I played the hell out of this game, so I kind of like know the entire deal. You have to turn off the gas so it's not boiling the water anymore. We want to switch this over. Well, you're gonna bring this up, and then that's gonna drain all of the water. And if we try to put this up right now, nothing's gonna happen, but that's because we can, and here's another nice little thing, they're very, very smart with how they set these machines up and make them logically consistent. So this is currently going to like this kind of pump right here. And you'll notice this pipe goes to that switch over there that actually powers, these lines power different things on the island here. But right now we have it pointed this way. It's pointing to, we have it directed toward this pump, but in order to actuate this, the walkway, which is this line right here, we can follow it, turn this over, and now, what do you know, raising the walkway works. And this is kind of like fiddling with machines and like letting the player kind of discover things and mess with things on their, like, without you know, a lot of like without any text or like intricate explanations or anything, just like letting the player's own curiosity take hold. And we're gonna go this way, I think. Yeah, letting the player's own curiosity take hold and just guide themselves through figuring out how these different machines work. It's very satisfying as a player to mess with these things. I mean, granted, I was also the kind of kid when I was growing up to disassemble. I would disassemble. My family had this like toaster or whatever that, or whatever. My family had this toaster that we threw out because it wasn't working anymore. And before they threw it out, I just took it and I went to the back porch and I just disassembled the entire thing and then tried putting it back together because I wanted to see how this toaster worked. So with that context, maybe I'm just weird. You can see down there a little small hint to a later puzzle thing. You can also follow the pipes and I like all the little. If you're really looking at things, everything is set up in a very intelligent way. But anyway, I learned how to disassemble and reassemble the poster because I wanted to see how it worked, and I did figure out how it worked. All right, we got here, and this is how you would open up this hatch and all that kind of stuff, and going through these doors. And yeah, but this section is very much different from how it was in the original game. Extremely different, because they also kind of built this game for VR. But let's move over to the little workshop, because there's something I want to do at the workshop that will be... Oh, this is why they give you a little shortcut, because I'm just now realizing I forgot to switch the power over. Because I am silly. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Hopefully the jitteriness and all that kind of stuff is not too bad. It's going to continue to be a bit bad, but you know. Yeah, see how it's linked to that, so we have to go and fix that real quick. Can we still go through here? Yes, we can. Excellent. And pull this little lever. Whoop. It's going to be extremely interesting when we're trying to, because the very first video that I did for this channel, was for like the game development thing, was trying to figure out what game engine we were going to use, and my whole idea, like, there's so many game engines and they all do their own things very well and they can do a bunch of stuff, and what's more important than the game engine you choose is that you just start in the first place and you try to make something and see if it works. And you know, like, just try to make the thing work in the first place, like, just make something. And I didn't want to spend too much time, like, trying to figure it out and, like, I don't know, trying to research game engines and what game engine to use is very... It's a lot. Yeah, we can just go down here. This is a pump for this room. I don't know why that's there. The new soundtracks they added, I feel... Anyway, this is a side tangent with this game. I don't... The new soundtracks, or like the little sound elements they added here and there, such as the one we're hearing right now, I think are meh. I just did all that for no reason. I can just go up there. Don't really... Anyway, the sound bits don't really match like the original vibe of the game, but it's fine. We're gonna run right back here. Here we go. Okay, back up. I promise I'm not just playing Riven for the sake of it. Oh, here's a little fun little thing you get to do here. In the original game, that this whole like hidden door thing was... It tripped a lot of people up. But now they're able to look around in this like 3D remake. It's not so bad. Okay. Getting on to what we were trying to do. I gotta make myself some tea or something in the future. Oh yeah, that little lever isn't here anymore. Anyhow, here's a lovely workshop with a lot of doodads and trinkets and things like that. Hello, sir. Little throwback to the original game. It's gonna jump down there. We're able to find little books. Okay, so getting back to what I was saying with like kind of this, we got a little bit of it earlier. What does this thing do again? I forgot what the entire point of this was. Anyway, like this machine. We approach this machine. It seems cool. We click on it. And I like this little bit about how the gameplay works. Where the camera kind of... I mean, we can move out of this view, but the camera kind of like zooms in and locks our view to this little section, and we can interact with all the different doodads and bits on it and see what everything does. This exact thing is not actually needed. For like any puzzle things, but this is it's just like a good example of what I'm talking about with the kind of like object interactions that I really like just how like very physical like the world feels. We're able to move all these different things, and also the sound design helps like a lot with that too. Yeah. Another hint for another puzzle. Little kind of like book making kind of apparatus here. Anyway, so this is all to say that I think this game is wonderful and I enjoy this kind of gameplay greatly. We also, as I was saying earlier, with the whole thing about choosing what game engine to use and all that kind of stuff, my entire thought process, as I said before, like this game is made in Unreal Engine, and minor spoilers for Riven, by the way, or like the remake. This game is made in Unreal Engine, and so my entire thought process was like, okay, this has the kind of gameplay that I'm trying to do and the kind of things that I'm trying to do, so we're gonna work in Unreal Engine. I understand that Unreal Engine has some flaws that people point out, especially with its I wonder how this flywheel works, like what's powering it. Unreal Engine has some flaws right now, especially with its lighting, and it... You just keep cranking this thing? Do we just keep whacking this thing? We can get this thing going. There's probably supposed to be like some safety guard in there. You could just get your arm chopped off. Oh, that transfers power to this. Interesting. Anyhow. So optimizing Unreal Engine stuff, I understand is going to be a challenge. We'll figure that out later, with how to do it. Every engine's gonna have its own particular problems. I understand Unreal Engine has its whole lighting thing with Lumen, I believe it's called, if I remember properly. Can you look out of that telescope? Oh, is that supposed to be like that? I'm not sure that's supposed to be like that. Like I said, the game is, my computer is struggling a little bit right now. I'm sure it's not the game's fault. What the hell is that? Okay, whatever. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. That's the whole idea. At this, I'm gonna quit out of this because at this point I'm just notebook. Alright. Spoilers, by the way, for Riven. Alright, they changed that. Back here! We're back! Also, is my camera working properly now? Let's find out. Whoop. Whoop. Kinda. It's still struggling, but it's okay. My computer's trying to do a lot at once. The poor thing. So, back to what I was saying. Why did I bring up Riven? Oh, right. Okay. Riven is like a good example of the kind of object interaction stuff that I really am interested in, that I really want to do. That feels very, what's the word? Tactile, I guess is the word. Feels very tactile. Feels like, you know, I like just fiddling with mechanisms and machines and seeing how they tick and all that kind of stuff. And also being able to, you know, looking around and looking at your, if we're going back to the gameplay overview, looking around at your surroundings and reading certain notes and things for hints and clues as to how something will work, how a, how like you know, like the hints for, you know, how like a lock might work or be opened or something like that, or how a numbering system might work. And if we go to the gameplay overview, mechanics, ideas, this obviously needs to be filled out quite a bit more, but this is the main idea. Player clicks on interactable area, camera faces itself to the area where the player can interact with the objects via the mouse. Love it. Oh, this was a whole other thing. We'll have to get to this. That I actually don't remember what that was referring to, but I'm sure I will remember at another point with the story. Oh, going back to the story. So, if we're back here, I'm realizing this entire video is turning into a completely broken up mess with me describing certain things of the game and then getting sidetracked to talk about this other thing and then coming back around to another thing. And that's okay. Because like I said, this is updating myself on how existence works and how all this nonsense works. So it's gonna be fine. and we're gonna keep moving forward. And I'm just gonna pick up where I left off with the whole prologue section because, you know, because everyone can deal with it. Right. Yes, story takeaways. It's very dense here because, going back to this, story takeaways, here's our, after the Ludlow massacre, I showed you this. Player character's relation to the events, wife and brother killed at Ludlow. Very unfortunate. We're all sad. And this is going to be extremely difficult to show. Player character cannot recall or like picture things, including faces, because he has something called aphantasia. If we look up at aphantasia is real fast. Should I be using Google Chrome? Probably not. However, inability to voluntarily visualize mental images. Which actually be considered a type of hyperphantasia. Anyway, so yeah, our player character will have aphantasia, but we do find he is still an artist. And you know, there's like this big kind of like the main thrust of the story is, you know, he lost his loved ones in Ludlow and he has aphantasia and he's trying to what was it? Yes. Lost his loved ones. He's an artist and he's trying to draw his loved ones again, but he's not able to draw them because he cannot like picture their faces in his mind. It's not that he wouldn't recognize them if he saw them, but it's not something he can picture, and we'll see like a lot of different attempts at drawing these two people scribbled out over and over and over again because he's not able to get the face right. He knows what the face is supposed to be, but he just can't like picture it in his mind enough to get it onto the page. Yes, so front door and a couple windows leaking in the hazy sunlight. Yeah. Doesn't try one out. All of them incomplete, scribbled out. He's driven his wife brother many times, but cannot visualize what their faces look like. I just said this. I like. We'll see about. Anyway. Yes. I think we had the entire video I did. The last video I did in November was all about sorting out what the puzzle is going to be. Maybe it's in here. All right, great news. There is nothing in here, so that's wonderful. Player movement, pre-game project. Where were we? Man, picking up the pieces of the... I didn't write any of this down. Well, I wrote a lot of stuff down, but I didn't write down because I remember this specifically that I had figured out what the puzzle for the starting section is going to be. Mini puzzle for prologue. I had this original idea of like, oh, making coffee or whatever. But I decided to axe that because I'm trying to make a game that doesn't have any inventory. I do not want to rely on an inventory for puzzles to work. I like everything being in the environment and you purely relying on you interacting with objects and like in mechanisms and machines and figuring out how they work. So something like making coffee, which involves like you have to pick up a kettle and place it onto, or you have to pick up a kettle, fill it with water, place it on the stove, heat up the stove, then you have to pick up the kettle again, pour it into something. Or maybe you have like a bubbler kind of thing if you like burnt nonsense. Or whatever, I don't know. I don't drink a lot of coffee because it gives me bad reactions. Anyway, that kind of little while it like helps like with I guess interactivity, it's not good in terms of there's my radiator going again when it's 75 degrees outside. I don't control the heat in this building, and Uh, this landlord sucks. Anyway, where are we? Yeah, so instead of making coffee, which requires like picking stuff up and having that whole item interaction that I did not want to have, I had this entire idea set out for a different kind of puzzle. And I had put it all together here in this video. What's going on here? Everyone go away. Oh, thank you, Oliver Dive 9759. Great. Maybe I need to just watch my own video again, because frankly, I forgot. That's relatable. I guess I just need to watch my own video again, which is lame. We'll have to figure out I'll have to watch the video again and remind myself what the puzzle was in the first place. Because I had an entire idea of a puzzle that we were going to put together that relied on... I think this letter arriving under the door was going to be the last story beat initially. The letter where you find like, oh, the brother and the deceased wife, like, you know, asking the main player character to go somewhere, but they're supposed to be dead. What's going on? I had the idea of like having that letter. What if it came earlier? Like much earlier in the level. So you go to pick it up, and trying to decipher what is on the page is the actual puzzle, which involves you opening up a little trap door in the floor and finding an old book cipher kind of thing and being able to use the cipher to, you know, get through the whole, decipher the whole message of what they're trying to tell you. So, yes. Right, and then we had this next section, which was outside the cave entrance. I believe the entire deal here was essentially the brother and the late brother and wife of our main character had put together some kind of puzzle as some kind of gift for our main player character. It's contrived, I know, but it's the first game, and I don't care right now. Well, I do care. I want to make the story interesting in some kind of way, even though this entire puzzle setup is a bit contrived. But I wanted to make it a little more interesting in the fact that it's a puzzle that was set up for our main character, but it's been sitting here for over a year. And now, because it's been sitting here over a year, the puzzle is doesn't quite work how it was originally meant to, and certain clues that are hidden around the environment are now rubbed away and like weathered away, you know, from storms and other things breaking down, things like that, as well as some mining equipment or something that has gotten in the way of the like main door we're trying to get into. Just because the things are broken down, it's literally like an abandoned little what's it called, storage kind of area. Yeah. So yes, and then finally, so yes, we have this little section. I don't have anything written for the inside cave in the finale part, but what I do remember was it is because we have the entire story beat of our main character is an artist. I have everything written down lovely, wonderfully over on this page. Right? Oh, you can't see that at all. Hold on. Let me crank up that shutter speed so you're able to make that out. I have this entire thing written down with all the different sections and stuff of the cabin, and like we're gonna get more into how this is working and, you know, the different places that you go and how information is revealed and all that jazz. But because it's all that jazz, that's anyway. Yes. Whoop, whoop. Where was I going with this? Where was I going with this? God, I am terrible. This is such a strange day. I'm not able to remember anything right now. It doesn't help that I haven't like touched this in 7, 8 months. So trying to get back on track is a little difficult right now. We're very underexposed at the moment. Why did I bring this up? Man. This is a good time to remind everyone that I have really I got ADHD at the wazoo. And so thinking sometimes and working memory stuff is a little bit difficult, which is why it's difficult for me to talk. Because sometimes I'll start rambling and talking about what I was trying to, and then I'll get slightly sidetracked and then forget what my original point was, and now I don't remember what I was going to say about any of this. I think I remember. We're establishing... Oh, I was talking about the main story part. We're establishing that our main character is an artist right off the bat, and you know, this whole idea with like the aphantasia and things like that, where he's not able to draw anything that he isn't directly looking at. And the entire main thrust of the story is he's not able to draw their faces of his loved ones, and then he gets this strange letter under the door that we don't know from who. I do have an idea on who that is going to be that I will talk about later, because it requires way too much explanation. Yeah. And from there, we the letter says meet us on like outside of town at this place, and we do find this whole area where there's like this puzzle lock and everything, and this door that we have to try to get into by solving the puzzle. Once we get into, yes, I was trying to explain the part 2, the inside the cave and the finale of the game. Once we get into the cave, we find that this entire setup, this puzzle and stuff, was like a gift that was created by this wife and brother before they passed away, for the main character. And inside, we're able to find a little locket of sorts. And when you open up the locket, it has a little photograph, a little portrait of both the family members that our main character has lost. Nicely wrapping up his story, and then, you know, credits roll, and at the very end of the credits, we see a finally finished portrait, drawn portrait that our main character has made. Now that he's able to see the faces of his loved ones once again. Very heartwarming, very nice. That's the whole idea. Yeah. So, okay. This has been a long, rambling mess. This has been going on for an hour and 5 minutes and 55 seconds and an hour and 6 minutes right now. Yes. And I was looking at the recording thing, not the streaming thing. Anyway. So yeah. Like I said, this is all kind of going back to this project that we had set up and reminding myself on what was going on. I need to rewatch the previous video that I made for day 11, which was designing the first puzzle, to remember all the ideas that I had for the first puzzle. I think I have several of them, but I will need to get back to that and actually remember it properly. Yeah. Thankfully, I wrote down a lot of notes. And I have a lot of things in place. So, this all being said, I have this entire thing written down, or like drawn out for like the layout of the home. You're not able to see it right now because of the light and stuff. I have this entire like layout set up for the main home, and I do have the puzzle put together. I'm going to watch my previous video, so I'm not on stream right now, obviously. I'll watch it in a bit. After I get this done and also get this uploaded to the channel, blah, blah, blah. I do have the, like I said, the puzzle video. We're going to be watching that, getting myself up to speed with what I was doing. And with all this being done, I think since I do know I have the puzzle mostly set up, I think the next order of business is literally drawing or like putting together, going into the engine. I have to get myself reoriented with how the engine works. Oh, it's going to be so difficult. It's going to be a whole thing. I will make sure to update the engine before I start the stream next week, so I don't have to run into this issue of like trying to update it while the stream is going. That's going to take forever. So, next time, I believe we will be in the engine and actually trying to learn how to put together this home and stuff. Obviously, I am not, if you could not tell from this lovely work here, I am not an artist myself. Well, I am an artist, just not a drawing artist. So we're going to be using a lot of assets and things like that. I do not know anything about 3D modeling, and I don't know anything about animation. My main deals are in storytelling and music, which those skills will come in handy, but they will come in handy later in this project. Okay, so, yeah, I guess that was the whole deal. This was day 11.5, we're calling it now, because it wasn't... it was a lot of review, double checking the work we did, things like that. I hope y'all had a decent time. I'm not sure anyone showed up to stream, but that is okay. That is actually better for me because, damn, I am excellent. What does that mean? Twitch Inspector. Oh, okay, never mind. What was it? Right. This is my very first time streaming, so I think it's actually good that not a lot of people showed up. This is not me coping. I'm actually a little kind of happy because it felt very stress-free for me to kind of get a hold of the whole process, get things set up and going. I'm surprised I started only 3 minutes late. Yeah, so next time, day 12, we are going to get into the engine itself, and we're going to start working, figuring out how to actually put this level together. We're gonna start very basic with just like getting the level, like making the level in Unreal Engine in the first place, like making the file for it, I mean. And assets and all that kind of stuff is going to be a whole thing that we will figure out. Yeah, I thought about doing commentary, because that's what I've been doing for the past however many videos, and I suppose I can still do that here and there. Granted, not a lot of comments have been left, because it was a while ago, and because my uploads to YouTube were so all over the place. You know, I'm messing around with the quarter. My bad. Hold on, let me... Oh, God. This time for sure. Excellent. We did it. Because my upload schedule was non-existent, YouTube started like saying like, no, you're bad. You can't, no one will ever look at your thing again. And so a lot of people are seeing it, but that's okay. Oh no, my camera, it died. Hold on. Please hold. We must revive him. Ah! Not the EOS webcam utility. 1 second. Oh boy. Well, this is just silly. Hold on, I gotta find my camera battery. Where did I put that thing? Remember what I said about troubleshooting and all that kind of stuff? Slap that back in there. Get that back on. How's it going? Okay, we're back. Whoops. Okay, I have a fully charged battery in there now. I'll figure out a way to power this camera without needing to. I have another like webcam and stuff here. I just have it like center on. It's in a weird spot, and also my DSLR looks a lot better. Yes, day 12 will be about going into the engine and all that kind of stuff and building out our level. And commentary, which I said I was going to do. There are no comments except for Oliver Dive 9759, who says welcome back, and he has a little thing. Thank you very much. I hope you are enjoying whatever this is. This day 11.5. Yeah. Well, anyhow, it has been lovely, and it's also been a mess, and I'm fiddling with things, and this is the first stream, and, you know, it's gone not too terrible. So, this all being said, I hope everyone has a swell time in the future. I might try to do more streams that aren't related to game design in the future. You might have noticed the name of this streaming channel and stuff, and I might be changing the name of the YouTube channel to suit. However, we'll figure that out later, and you will know when I do that. Thank y'all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate y'all sticking around, even if it's just putting this thing on in the background, or if you're more diligently watching, just to have, I don't know, see someone who does not know what's going on and how any of this works, try to work through all these problems. So, yeah, oh, wait, I almost forgot. I gotta have my classic, excellent. Well, cool. This is very clean. So, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. I will see y'all next time in day 12, an official day 12, where we'll be in the game engine and all that kind of stuff, and properly sorting through all these things that we have to do. This game is a long way from being... It feels like we haven't even started yet. I'm sure when we actually get into the game engine and start making something for real, it'll start feeling like a lot more tangible. But until that, thank you all again. I will see y'all next time, and I've listened to this song way too many times. It's fine. Have a good one. Good luck in your own journeys if you are on them as well, and stay tuned next Monday at 10 a.m. where I'll be streaming once again on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JazwoKit. I will put a thing in the description. You will be able to see a thing in the description of what the channel is on Twitch. And if you're not able to make it to the streams, that is a-okay, because these are all also uploaded to YouTube after the fact. So you're gonna have both. Yeah, okay, officially this time, actually, thank you for watching, and now I will go, and I'm going to skip the music ahead forward so we can have a nice little... See y'all next time.